Good morning and welcome back to my channel. I feel like I've been fast-tracked this morning. I had intended to go to the early group because we've got other stuff on today and we really pushed for time. But I honestly could not be bothered to get out of bed. It was such a cold morning. So I had to head back to Nottingham to go to group, call at Costa on the way, call at my husband's to pick something up. And I just feel like I've got out of bed at some silly time this morning and gone vroom, vroom, vroom to get to where I am now. And it's been such a mad rush that I want to show you something. Laura, there is the large coconut latte I bought as I was driving into Nottingham this morning, and it's still hot.
It's as big as your head.
It's as big as my head, and it's still hot. So you can tell the speed I've been moving at this morning. I feel like I've been moving at the speed of light. So yeah, just put that down there because I don't like to drink when I'm talking. Yeah, whiz. I need to sort of stop and catch my breath really. Went into group, sorry that's my mobile, but went into group this morning and quite a few people already there, even though we flew right in at the beginning. And going to go straight to my results, and I'm really pleased with myself because I feel like I'm living this lifestyle. I'm totally focused on EE, extra easy, because it's nothing at all like being on a diet, and it allows me to eat the foods I love. And I don't have to think about it, so I don't spend any energy today worrying about what can I eat, what can't I eat. I know what I can eat, I know what I love to eat, I know extra easy like the back of my hand, and I'm just doing it and really enjoying it. So I've had an extra easy week. I've had 101 out of 105 sins. And what result did I get? Got on the scales this morning and lost ½ pound. That's brilliant, because I had said, I think a few weeks ago, that I want to get back to 9 stone, but I didn't want to rush it. I didn't want to panic, and I didn't want to stress about it, because if I stress, I gain weight. And Joe always tells me that, don't you? You say it's not a good thing, stressing, when you're trying to shed weight. Stressing can make you gain weight. So don't want to stress about it, don't want to worry about it, just want to gradually do it, because it's a lifelong journey. So lost ½ pound this morning, which takes me to 9 stone and ½ pound. Now on Thursday I was having a text conversation with a lovely Slimming World member, and she knows who she is, she'll watch this at some point. And we were talking about maintaining when you get to target, and actually that is kind of a bit like living the dream really. And I said to her in the text, I said I ought to go look on my laptop and see what I weighed this time last year. Because sometimes to see your maintenance journey you really do have to look at the bigger picture. Because if you worry about it on a week-to-week basis, every time you have a pound gain or a £1.50 gain, you feel like it's pulling you further in the wrong direction. But if you look at the bigger picture, so I always check what I weigh for the first weigh-in every month against what I weighed for the first weigh-in the previous month. But I thought, no, I'm going to go back and I'm going to see what I weighed this time last year. So I went on my laptop and I texted the lady back and I said to her, this week last year, or this last Saturday last year, I weighed 126.5 pounds, 9 stone and ½ pound. Last Saturday I weighed 127 pounds. And I've just checked again, and on the next weigh-in I got a maintain, and on the next weigh-in I got a maintain. So for 3 weeks I was 126.5 pounds. This morning I weigh 126.5 pounds. How could I ask for more than that? You know, I don't worry about being knocked off plan anymore. I don't worry about eating my emotions anymore. I don't worry about cravings anymore. And I'm not going to say never, because who knows what's around the corner, you know. You know, there may be a day when I choose to go out and just blow it, because I feel like just blowing it. But not this week, and hopefully not next week. And if I can continue eating like this and loving the foods I'm having. I mean, yesterday morning for my breakfast I chose to have toasted ciabatta with a small tin of red salmon, and I always put a drop of vinegar in salmon. And I sat there eating this for my breakfast, and because of the salmon and the good oils and things in the salmon, it was so filling. And it just makes me smile that I can sit there and have something like that for my breakfast, really enjoy it and know that it's on plan. It was a B choice and protein. And I don't know, just this week I think I've probably gone a bit salmon mad because I rediscovered my love. Have you got the poached salmon here, Joe?
Yeah.
Joe will show it, yeah. I've rediscovered my love for Marks and Spencer's poached salmon. Now, a pack of 2 of these is £6. But it's already cooked and it's ready to eat, so it's a grab and go type food, and I'm all in favour of grab and go type foods because I'm not the best cook. I'm not the best cook in the world. I can cook, but it's not one of the things I really enjoy doing. So if it ever becomes that it feels like a chore, I need something to grab and go. So that salmon, 2 pieces for £6. If you buy a single piece, it's £4. So if you can find your way to eating it twice within a few days, it's cheaper. So one of those portions of salmon, McCain jacket potato for 1 sin. And you might say, why go for a McCain when you can go just put a potato in the oven and it's free? The reason I go for the McCain one is because it tastes good. It's got a bit of oil in it, which is savvy as far as I'm concerned. It adds a bit of filling power to it, and it's 1 sin. You know,
and it's only 5 minutes in the microwave.
5 minutes in the microwave. And then with that, I would serve either broccoli or cauliflower, or both if you want. And then I would sprinkle over it 5 grams of, can you show it, Joe? Nutritional yeast. Now, I'll talk about nutritional yeast in a moment, but I'm just going to say about this meal. I like convenience. You know, ready prepared vegetables, stuff like that. I don't buy frozen veg because I don't enjoy them, but I will buy ready chopped, ready prepped. It's convenience food. I suppose it's a healthy way of looking at convenience food. So I'll buy the baby cauliflowers, or at the moment they've got bags of ready prepped cauliflower in Asda for 70 pence. Can't go wrong, can you? 250 grams. So put that meal together. You've got, well, I put my steamer on the stove. You throw the cauliflower in, it takes 7 minutes. You put the potato in the microwave, it takes 5 minutes. You put the salmon on your plate. You put the whole lot, you know, that goes ping, that's finished boiling, you put the whole lot on your plate, you sprinkle 5 grams of nutritional yeast over the top. That's a meal in 10 minutes. It takes 11 minutes to cook a microwave meal from Slimming World. And I know, because I've done that a couple of times this week, because I like the pork char siu. So on Tuesday and Thursday of this week I had the microwave pork char siu. If you're trying to work this plan as I do, 7 days a week, there are going to be days when you really don't feel like standing and chopping and prepping and stirring and cooking for hours. And I'll be honest with you, I've given away my slow cooker. Because I've found that with our lifestyle, when there's generally somebody around to cook, actually leaving the slow cooker on all wasn't necessary. So we gave away our slow cooker, invested in a Le Creuset sauté pan, because we're there and we can cook. And the Le Creuset pan goes on the stove. I can cook as low as number 1 on my electric stove on it. And I can cook any of the meals that I used to do in my slow cooker in about 1/5 of the time. And I think slow cookers are marvellous if you've got work commitments and you're out all day and you come into a hot meal. But we're never in that situation. I was getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to turn the slow cooker on so that it would be ready for lunchtime, because that's when I like my main meal. And I thought, this is daft. Here's me in the kitchen at 4:45 in the morning, chopping onions or whatever. Why am I doing this? So whilst when I worked, a slow cooker was a wonderful thing, but there's usually one of us here to cook, so that's gone by the by. But looking at the convenience of healthy food, what's more convenient than that meal I just said? You know, that's what I'm having for my lunch today. It'll take me 10 minutes to prepare it.
Oh yeah, don't forget the pink salt.
Pink salt, yeah.
And just mush it all up in a bowl.
Oh, I love it. I'm a bit of a one.
You don't put it on a plate, just mush it up all together.
But I'm a bit of a one for stodgy food, comfort food. You know that, I don't mean comfort as in emotional comfort, I mean comfort as in, oh my God, it's cold today, I need something comforting. And it is cold today. That to me is like a thoroughly filling, thoroughly warming, thoroughly satisfying, extra easy meal in 10 minutes. I watched a video on the recommendation of Debbie. She said there was a video up by Andy Nev, and it was Andy's talk or Andy's story from SlimCon. And I have a great deal of respect for Andy. I wish he'd vlog more. Andy, if you get to see this, or if anybody sees this who knows Andy, ask him to put some vlogs up on YouTube, because I do miss him. Right, so I think Debbie had actually recorded this, but Andy put it up on his channel, and it's Andy's story from SlimCon. And it's quite a moving story. I heard some of it before. But one thing in it, you know, you can hear one sentence in something that really massively moves you. At the very beginning, when Andy comes, I presume he's on the stage, I can't see it, but I presume he's on the stage, and he says, I can't quote it word for word, but he says something like, I nearly didn't make it out here today because I just almost got trapped in a toilet cubicle. And all of a sudden, my body, I'm watching this, and I went into like a cold sweat. It wasn't a cold sweat for Andy, it was a cold sweat for myself, because that happened to me when I was at my biggest. And I think I'd subconsciously filed it away and never thought about it. Not now I'm smaller, I've never thought about it for months, or years probably. And just one thing that you think you may be the only person in the world that could possibly have ever happened to. Only my best friend knew about this happening to me because she was there at the time. I've never told her. I've never told you about it, have I, Joe?
No.
I've never told my husband about it. I've never told anybody this. I was in the pub with my mates, which is not unusual. And they were off to the ladies, and my best friend, who was with us, will always say if she's going to the loo, do you need to go? Because she knows I can't just get up and find the toilets on my own, being blind. So she's like, do you want to go? And I thought, well, I might as well. So yeah, we all go, don't you? All the girls together, clutching your handbags, off you go to the toilet. Well, I don't know about the pubs where you live, but where I live, the pubs can be pretty tight in the ladies. They squash in 5 or 6 cubicles, but they're like this wide. So I generally get steered toward the first one by my mate, and they go off and do their thing. So I go into the toilet, and I was always very conscious that going in to the toilet was always a bit of a tight fit. So you go in, you kind of learn to manoeuvre yourself around and whatever, and you close the door. You do what you need to do. Then you want to come out and wash your hands. Well, I couldn't get out. I can feel the panic now. I went to open the door, which opened from the right inwards. On my right hand side was this huge round container, which was the boxing sort of container for one of those really big toilet rolls. Right, okay. And then there's me, filling the whole of the space. I mean, God knows how I got in there. I didn't back in, but my handbag was hanging on the back of the door, so I thought, right, get your handbag off the door first, put that over your shoulder. I've always got a big bag, so that got in the way. There was 2 big bags in that room that day. And I opened the door, and I'm pulling it towards me, but I couldn't get it past me, and I couldn't step that way because of this huge toilet roll thingy container. And I said to my friend who was outside, I said, I'm stuck. And she went, what do you mean you're stuck? I went, I can't open the door, I can't. And I'm opening the door, and she's like pushing the door and pushing it into me. And I said, I can't get through because it's... Well, in the end, she had to open the door part way, and we had to take this toilet roll thingy off the wall. Fortunately, it came off quite easily because of refilling it. And then we took the big toilet roll off, and then we were able to... I could step this way to open the door that way. And honestly, I'm laughing about it now. I was crying. I was mortified. And I was so upset because all I could think was, they're going to have to get the fire brigade to take the door off. And it's because I'm fat. And at that time, I would have been at my highest. I would have been about 22 stone. And I'm not very tall. I think, I don't know what I come across like on camera, height-wise and everything, but I am quite a small person now. But if you can imagine wrapping me in like a Michelin suit to get me up to 22 stone, I was not a very manoeuvrable person. My mobility wasn't brilliant. And because I didn't have the height to take the weight, everything was like, oh my God, I can't tell you. That was an awful, awful experience. But when Andy said it on there, and he appreciated, I mean, he got out, thank God, or he wouldn't have been on stage, but he appreciated the difficulties of that. And I'm sure there must be other people who watch this video who've been in similar circumstances. But when I think about my life today and how free I am from all that, and I try to measure it in my head against why did I do it? Why did I allow myself to get to that place? I actually find it hard to even believe and comprehend that that person was me. And you've said it, Joe, haven't you? You've said, I find it really hard now to think of you as being as big as you were, haven't you?
Yeah, I really find it hard to believe. But I believe that it was almost like a drug addiction. I don't think a drug addict wants to be battered, bruised and scarred sleeping on the streets, you know what I mean? But it's just the effect that the chemical has.
And food does have that effect on me. Some foods really do have that. And that's why I don't consume certain things, because I know if once, I mean, like I talk about my chocolate and things like that, and I'll joke about it, and I know that if once certain substances, and I think for me the prime substance is sugar. But if you think about life as an alcoholic, alcohol turns to sugar in your system. I think for me, the only reason I never became an alcoholic was because I grew up, my parents were publicans. And I've said this before on my vlogs, I could have drunk every day, all day long. It was there, it was free, it was available. I had access to the bar, I had access to the cellar. We had a big wine place off our kitchen. We had every kind of alcohol in the corner of our lounge. I could have drunk to my heart's content, but I couldn't do it in secret. Because once we turned 16, our dad said to us, if you want to have a drink, you're allowed to have a drink. We couldn't serve drink, we weren't old enough, but in moderation, if you would like a glass of wine with your dinner, if you would like, for me, I used to have a gin and tonic in the evening with my grandma if she was there. We were allowed to have that, but there was no power in that because I was allowed to do it. I wanted to do the things I wasn't allowed to do, which is why I started smoking when I was 14, you know, and I used to dangle out my bedroom window puffing on a fag. I don't know what people driving past thought. I started smoking at 14. I stopped smoking at 58, something like that. I had a 10-year break in the middle, but I went back to it. By the grace of God, I'm off fags today because I don't need a crutch. Right, I started overeating at some stage in my life, and it's hard to actually pinpoint it because I wasn't a fat child. And out of my mum's 3 children, I was the small baby. And to actually put a timeline on these things is very hard. But I did let myself get to that stage because I let myself go. I didn't care for myself. I didn't care about myself. And I think I lost just about all my self-respect. Today I feel so differently about that. I feel like I've got a second chance, and it's amazing. Right. I went shopping on Tuesday. Well, Tuesday was a funny day for me, let me explain. Tuesday was the 3rd anniversary of my best friend's death. He died suddenly on the 25th of September 2015. And when you've not had a chance to say goodbye to somebody, I mean, I've had people die in my life who I've had a chance to say goodbye to. That was the first death where I hadn't had an opportunity to say goodbye. That was different. This Tuesday was the 3rd anniversary, and I woke up in the morning and I was lying in bed and I was thinking, I want to be really sad. It's the anniversary, I want to be really sad today. And I thought, no, what do you mean you want to be really sad? I'm trying to make myself feel emotions, right? And not eat over them, but I also get that very messed up in my head. And I thought, no, I should be really sad today. And then eventually, to cut a long story short, I had to give myself a bit of a talking to because I was like, Jane, you're looking for an excuse to indulge yourself here. I know you, I know the way you behave. Why would you feel any sadder on Tuesday than you did on Monday or you will on Wednesday? Stop it. Now, I'm not saying this is right for everybody. I'm saying it's right for me and where I'm at in my life. And I had to really give myself a serious talking to. Now, Tuesday, the 25th of September, also happens to be the birthday of another really good friend. For the last 2 years, I realised I had neglected his birthday because I was so busy wallowing in my own self-pity. Now, I'm not saying anything about anybody else's reaction to bereavement. We all have to deal with grief in our own way. My younger brother's still dealing with a lot of grief. He lost his wife. Everybody's different. Everybody deals with it differently. But I have to do what is right for me. And for me this year, it was not right to wallow in self-pity on the anniversary of his death. What was right was to celebrate my other friend's birthday, to go out and live my life, which is what he would have said to me. I know today, if he was here, he would say to me, live your life to the full. Because he said that about everybody. That was his motto in life. He would also say, for God's sake, Jane, get a grip. That was another phrase he regularly used with me because I was usually out of control over something.
That's to put it in the bin one. That was another one.
Oh yeah, don't put it in your mouth, put it in the bin. That was another one.
Yeah.
And what's funny is I've got a lot of this on a recording of his voice and things he said to me, because he actually left me one day. He left me this little recording to stop me going off track. But that wasn't on this diet. It was on a diet about 9 or 10 years ago. And what's really funny is playing that recording is so lovely because I used to have a guide dog, his picture's up on the wall over there, great big retriever, golden retriever called Robbie, named after Robbie Williams. And I got Robbie and the guide dog when just before Joe was 2 years old, so they grew up together. And unfortunately, Robbie had to be put to sleep when he was 15 because just old age, bless him, he was worn out. In the background, bringing tears to my own eyes here, in the background on the recording on my best friend's voice, my dog's barking. So that's really nice. Anyway, so on Tuesday I allowed myself to feel the joy of one friend's birthday instead of the grief of another friend's loss, and it worked wonders. I never once thought about eating over either of those incidents. I went to Pret-a-Manger for lunch with my friend. That was coincidental. We were in town, and according to her Fitbit, we did like 20-odd thousand steps looking for a blue leather jacket for me. She then nearly was fainting with hunger, so we had to go to Pret so she could have something to eat. I was going to be shortly on my way home, and my lunch was waiting for me, so I just had a cuppa. No, I didn't. I had a bottle of water. My God, I must have been in a good place. Yeah, because I don't like the coffee in Pret. I had a bottle of water. And just living that whole day without once thinking about needing to push the emotions down with food, because I think that's what I did for a lot of years, physically pushing the food in and pressing it down to push the emotions down, and it don't work anymore. But better than it doesn't work anymore, I don't need to do it anymore. So there we are, 20-odd thousand steps, no blue leather jacket, and well, that's okay because Jigsaw have found one for me and I'm going to pick it up on Monday, all being well. But I don't come home feeling disappointed anymore. I don't have to buy something for the sake of buying it to make me feel good, because that was another practice of mine. I'm very good at impulse buying, so I feel good about something. But you only feel good about something for a very short time, and then the regrets and the, oh my God, I should have spent all that money feelings creep in. Then you eat over it. This is all my old behaviours. Joe has this policy now, when I say I've seen something, I want something, if it's over, say, 50 quid, Joe will say to me, give it 5 to 7 days and see if you still want it. How did he get to be so flaming wise? We did this with a bottle of perfume in Jo Malone's. I'd found a perfume in Jo Malone that I liked, £120 for 100 mils. Excuse me. Similar price for perfume I wear every day. And the one thing that I liked about it was, I found it when I was with Susan, but the one thing I liked about it was that it smelled very similar to the Angel perfume I wear every day. That's why I was attracted to it. So I'm telling Joe about it, and he said, fine, 5 to 7 days, if you still want it, I'll take you to Jo Malone's. Got plenty of birthday money, which I haven't spent a penny of yet, so you can do that. Within those first 5 days, I was like, why? Why did I want that?
But on the first day of it, you're like, take me to town, it's my money.
It's my money, I can have
I can do what I want.
By
So,
day
yeah, you
4,
can have it. Yeah.
by day
I
4,
haven't heard about it since.
yeah, by day 4, it was like, why am I doing that? I've got loads of Angel perfume. Why am I buying something else that smells like it? I like it because it smells like Angel. Mental. The old me, on an impulse, would have just bought it. Then, the next day, I'd have thought, what a waste of £120. But good excuse, let's eat over those emotions. And that's what I did. I lived my whole life like that. Today, I have absolute freedom. It's like, in a way, you know, the universe throws things at you to see how you'll react. I really believe in that. I believe in seasons and reasons, and we are tested regularly and all that sort of stuff. But I feel like now I'm standing on solid ground and not shifting sand, that whatever the universe throws at me, I'm in a better place to deal with it. So, all in all this week, I have had a fabulous week. I've had a fabulous week of food. I've spent some fabulous time with friends. I've had some fabulous opportunities to do things I don't get to do every week. And I've got to the end of the week, and the icing, not just the icing on the cake, no, the icing on the cake is I lost ½ a pound when I wasn't trying to do anything other than maintain. The cherry on top of the icing on the cake was that today I weigh exactly the same as I did this day last year. And I can't tell you, I want to go, yes! That is maintaining. And if I can continue to do that, and I only have to focus on me doing that for myself, then come on, Slimming World, bring it on, I love it. This is the best plan for me. There's a million diets out there, and they work. They all work if you work them, and they all work as long as you're working them. And Slimming World isn't the only place. You know, you may be watching this, you may be doing Weight Watchers, you may be doing Atkins, you may be using MyFitnessPal, whatever, and it's working for you. Then I'll say, good on you, keep it going, keep doing it. Because whichever plan you find that works, and again, I'm not here to promote Slimming World. I only like sing and dance it because it works. I'm going because we're going to run out. Works if you work it, won't if you don't. See you next week. Bless you. Bye.